Chicos, bienvenidos. ¿Cómo están? ¿Cómo se le están pasando el día de hoy? Ya me conocen, soy Mauricio. Aquí estamos ya con Myles Thornton, quien nos va a regalar una entrevista el día de hoy. Ahí, ahí vamos a estar haciendo las preguntas que ustedes ya saben. Bienvenidos a todos, ya saben cómo funciona esto. Vamos a estar hablando en inglés, después traduciendo poco a poco al español. Y pues bueno, les recuerdo tener sus micrófonos, sus cámaras apagadas. Cualquier cuestión que quieran expresar, cualquier pregunta, cualquier otra cosa, ahí tenemos el chat room donde pueden hacer las preguntas o cualquier comentario que gusten. Yo los voy a estar leyendo por aquí. Myles ya está listo, estamos platicando ahorita. Él está desde Inglaterra, está 7 horas adelantado de nosotros. O sea, por eso lo hicimos tan temprano, porque allá son las 4 de la tarde, aquí son las 10 de la mañana, ¿no? Pero, pues listo, excelente. Vamos a empezar con esta entrevista. Mr. Myles, we're going to start with this interview already, okay?
Right.
So, well, we know you work for different, or you have done things for different companies, magic developers, and that you work in restaurants, and well, you work in restaurants, weddings and stuff, as we work the same way.
Cool.
So the first question we want to know is, for how long have you been in magic? Like, for how long have you been into magic?
Okay, so I'm 24 years old now, and I've been in it since I was 6 years old.
Okay, you've been since you were 6 years old and you're 24. That means you've been in magic for 18 years, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, and how did you start in magic?
So I met a magician, and he was kind of famous over here in the UK, and he gave me a magic set for helping out on stage, and I just got hooked. So I got a new magic set every birthday, Christmas, and the classic story almost.
Okay, very good. That's great. Chicos, le pregunto a Myles que desde hace cuánto tiempo está en la magia. Me dice que él tiene 24 años y está en la magia desde los 6 años. Quiere decir que tiene 18 años haciendo magia. Dice que conoció a un mago pues famoso, bueno, medio famoso ya en UK, en el Reino Unido, y que le regaló un set de magia, de magia, y él empezó a hacer magia en fiestas, ¿no? Desde los 6 años para amigos y así. Qué chido, ¿no? That's cool. I think finding magic in a young age, it's way better than finding it at 17 years old like I did. I started magic at 17 years old. I'm 23. I'm 7 years doing magic. I'm 24. Yesterday I turned 24 actually. So thank you. So I think if I had found magic just like you, like at 6 years, right? I wouldn't have lost 17 years. Right? The better, the best. Well, yeah, it's great. Now, before you met this magician, like, in the meanwhile of your career, what have been your magic references? Like magicians, books, what kind of subject got you like there?
So a lot of it, I was really into coin magic and stuff, and I still really am into coin magic. I was really into stuff where you could do it with like stuff around your house. So I used to do tricks with like pieces of fruit or like paper and stuff like that. Anything I could find and make tricks out of, I used to do that quite a lot. And then, like, as far as like references, is mostly other magicians. So when I was 11 years old, I joined a magic society. And there I met loads of adult magicians who are full-time magicians, and they taught me. So
that's great. So at 11 years old, you entered to the magic society.
Yeah. So it's a cool story. So the magic society that I'm part of is called the Associated Wizards of the South, and Harry Houdini used to be a member. So that's really cool.
Wow. So you were part of the society where Harry Houdini used to be part of.
Yeah.
That's great.
I joined when I was 11, and I'm now the president of the club. So.
Oh my God, that's great. I didn't know that, for example. So chicos, chéquense, le pregunto a Myles que cuáles habían sido sus referencias, ¿no? Y me dice que pues siempre le gustó mucho la magia con monedas, la magia que pudieras hacer alrededor de tu casa, ¿no? Con fruta, dice que le gustaban mucho los Matrix, entonces él buscaba cualquier cosa que pudiera hacer un Matrix, con la que pudiera hacer un Matrix. Me cuenta que cuando tenía 11 años, entró a la Sociedad Mágica de UK, de Reino Unido, y me cuenta Myles que en esta sociedad mágica, es la sociedad mágica donde él conoció varios magos que eran magos de tiempo completo y que aprendió de ellos, pero también algo interesante que me cuenta es que en esa sociedad de magos, él tiene, bueno, fue miembro Harry Houdini, ¿no? Entonces, él entró a los 11 años a esa sociedad y hoy en día él es el presidente de esa sociedad de magos, allá en United Kingdom, ¿no? En UK. Muy bien, that's very good. That's very interesting. I didn't know that, for example, about that you were the president of that magic society. That's great. Congratulations for that.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for sharing that with us. Now, you know, like everybody has this effect that just blows our mind and gets us in love or gets us to decide we want to do that, you know. So, for example, for me, it was an ambitious card and a card to pocket. Okay. My friend Abraham Hernandez here in Mexico. I saw that effect. I saw that. I saw the ambitious card routine that blew my mind. You know, like that was like, what? How's that happening? Then I saw the card to pocket, and that's when I said, like, I'm in love with magic. So for you, what would be this effect? What are your favorite effects? What's the effect that marked up your life and said, like, wow, what the fuck did I just see?
So there's two different ones. There's one was Lance Burton doing his dub act. So I remember seeing that when I was younger on TV. He would make
Sorry, who did you say it was?
Lance Burton.
Lance Burton, and what was the effect like?
So he would take have a white glove, he'd take it off, throw it into the air, and it'll turn into a dove and stuff like that. So
okay.
Yeah, so I saw that on TV and I thought, wow, that's really cool. So I tried to be that. So I tried to like wear the gloves and do that sort of stuff, and it didn't really fit me. And so the second trick, I saw David Stone do coin magic. He did coins across, and that's what really took me into coin magic.
So you said that the coins across with whom? Sorry, again?
David Stone.
With David Stone, okay. Oh, David Stone has coin routines that are just crazy.
Yeah.
The one coin routine, I love that routine, you know. But okay, let me translate for those guys. Le preguntaba a Myles, o más bien le comentaba a Myles, ¿no? Que todos tenemos un efecto que nos enamora. En mi caso fue la ambiciosa y fue el Card to Pocket que me enseñaron a mí unos amigos. Entonces yo le preguntaba que para él cuál había sido ese efecto en el cual él había cambiado su perspectiva de la magia, o más bien, del cual él se había enamorado de la magia, ¿no? Y me comenta que en un programa de televisión él vio hacer magia con un pedazo de tela que aventaba y se convertía en una paloma, ¿no? Entonces, él le impresionó mucho eso y él intentó hacer ese tipo de mago con guante blanco y hacer ese tipo de cosas, pero él comenta que pues sintió que no le quedaba ese papel, ¿no? Entonces, dice que ese es el primero, el que tiene dos. El segundo fue cuando vio a David Stone hacer un coins across, un pasapasta, como lo conocemos. Me comenta que él fue como se enamoró, o más bien como entró de lleno a la magia con monedas, ¿no? A través de ver a David Stone hacer ese efecto. Now, a question, did you see that effect, the David Stone, live, or it was on TV?
No, live. So I went to go see, he lectured at my club when I was 11. And yeah, I watched it when I was 11 years old. I thought, oh, that's the sort of magic I want to do, really visual stuff. And then he really kindly gave me his DVD sets for free when I was 11. So it was really nice.
Wow, that's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. Entonces dice que sí. Mi duda era si lo había visto en vivo. Dice que él sí, que él vio a Davidson en vivo, que fue a dar una lecture al Club de Magos donde él estaba. Y ahí fue donde él vio las monedas, ¿no? Y él fue donde empezó a hacer ese tipo de efectos más visuales. Y después Davidson le regaló un set de DVDs para que él siguiera practicando esas cosas. Qué increíble, la verdad, qué buena oportunidad conocer a un mago tan chido, ¿no? Tan bueno. Y más que nada que te regale su material, eso está increíble. Okay, very good. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Now, I know you have different effects. I know you have done different things. You're a master in contact manipulation. I love that.
Thank you.
But for you, what has been your best creation? Like a routine, a technique, a movement? What do you think has been the creation that's the best for you?
I think my favorite thing I've created, I can show you if you like.
Yeah, for sure.
So it uses a pen and a ring.
Okay.
So mostly, if I give a tap, see it vanishes and goes back to the finger, like that.
Okay.
We'll do it again. Watch. If I take the ring here, if you watch closely, if I give 2 taps, you see the ring changes into the pen, which means underneath here is the ring.
Oh.
Now I'll let you see the moment the ring goes back onto the finger. Watch. Back on like this.
Oh my God, that was crazy.
Thank you. And I'll tell you what, make it to vanish for real. So if I give a tap here, watch. Oh no, sorry, it's 2 taps. 2 taps. There we go. And there we go.
Wow, that's great. I love that.
So that's the favorite thing I've created. Yeah. And it's called impromptu.
That's the best thing you think it's your best creation.
So it's definitely my favorite because it's my favorite one that I perform. I think some people prefer my other stuff, but that's my favorite.
No, that's great. I love that. You know, I love magic with rings. I think it's something, well, personally, I wear 2. Right now, I don't have them because I'm in my house, but I wear 2. And I really love to do magic with them because it's something that everyone can have. Like in any situation, everyone can have a ring and you can ask for it.
Yeah.
Have you seen Justin Miller's divorce routine?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I love that routine. You know, it's like, for me, it's one of the best routines you can do with rings, right? And that you have done, it's crazy because I also do a lot of magic with Sharpies. I love magic with Sharpies. I mean, vanishing and turn them again, and then like color changing and stuff like that. It's crazy. And I think, well, you fooled me twice in this routine, let me tell you, because I didn't see the moment of the switch with the marker and the ring behind the armpit. So it's crazy. I like that a lot. How did you come to this? How you were just playing with ring? How did you start creating these magic routines?
So for this one specifically, it was based on another trick by Rune Clan. You heard of Rune Clan?
No, I don't think so.
He's a very good magician, and he uses a coin in the pen, and he's just got some similar sort of visual stuff. So I wanted to create something similar. So that was the goal, and therefore I started using the ring instead because I always have it on me.
I just want these guys to see. This is a personal question actually. Every time that you toss the ring up, you catch it in the finger.
Oh, so you can do little ones like this sort of height. Oh, I'm saying I drop it now. And it works. The really high ones, they take maybe I could probably get like 1 in 5 probably.
That's great. How many or for how long do you practice to do the?
A long time. So I used to basically take my dog out for a walk, and as I was walking him, I used to throw the ring up in the air and practice as I was walking along in the field.
A lot of drops in that practice, right? Okay, let me translate a little bit for you guys. Chicos, le preguntaba a Myles cuál era su creación, su mejor creación para él. Él me dice que tal vez no es la mejor, porque mucha gente le gusta otras cosas que él ha hecho, pero tal vez es su favorita, la rutina con el Sharpie y el anillo que nos mostró. Estuvo increíble, a mí me gustó muchísimo. Le comento que esa es una muy buena rutina porque pues los anillos es algo que todo el mundo tiene. A mí me encanta hacer magia con anillos, regularmente yo uso dos. Y involucrar el Sharpie que nosotros usamos mucho en los restaurantes también está increíble. Él me comenta que esta rutina es pues su rutina favorita que él ha hecho, que está basada de hecho en la rutina de otro mago que usa, what was the name of the magician that you said the routine was close?
Rune Clan.
Rune Clan. Yo la verdad debo admitir que no conozco a muchos magos de los que a veces hablan. Por ejemplo, este es el caso. Él se inspiró en esta rutina para hacerlo, ¿no? Entonces, esa él considera que es pues la mejor creación de rutina que él ha tenido, ¿no? Su favorita. Muy bien. That's great. That's great. Thank you for sharing that, man.
Oh.
Now, you know, lately we've seen magic. How can I say it? Like, magic has been modified a lot through technology.
Yep.
Right? I think technology brought us a new kind of magic, actually, right? But how do you see magic in the future? Like, in which direction do you think magic is actually going on right now?
So I think magic's going to become more popular. So I think it's increasing at the moment. I think it's going to increase in popularity, being on TV and stuff. And I also think it's going to take loads of different ways. So there's going to be virtual magic, like you see with Zoom. But I think it's always going to stay a live art. So I think it's always going to remain mostly performing live one-to-one, one to groups in person. But there'll be off branches of little bits and pieces like on the internet and on this. But I think it's strongest and I think it's best live one-to-one, but one-to in real life.
So you think in the future it's going to be like either virtual or live magic, whatever you want to join is what you want. But and do you think virtual magic it's good? Do you think it's a good way to perform, or what do you think about it?
So I think it's an interesting way to perform, and I think if you're really into it, then I think go for it. I think you should really take advantage of the situation we're in if you really want to perform virtual magic. I think it lacks something. I think anytime magic is recorded on a screen, it flattens it a bit, and you don't get the full effect as seeing it live in front of your eyes. So I think you had to play around with that, but I think it can be fun.
Well, yeah. Let me just tell them this. Le pregunto a Myles que, bueno, también le comento que para mí la magia ha tenido un cambio muy brusco, o más bien nosotros hemos cambiado la magia mucho a través de la tecnología. En mi opinión, la tecnología nos ha traído un nuevo tipo de magia. Entonces yo le preguntaba a Myles que él cómo veía la magia en un futuro, ¿no? En qué dirección él cree que la magia se está moviendo. Y él comenta algo muy cierto, la magia ha crecido mucho en popularidad y cada vez hay más magos, lo pasan mucho en televisión. Entonces, él piensa que va a haber dos vertientes de la magia virtual y la magia en vivo, ¿no? Que realmente, a pesar de que la magia se presente de manera virtual, pues la magia en vivo siempre va a existir porque siempre vas a ver el mago que prefiera hacer la magia directa, ¿no? De uno a uno, en persona. Sin embargo, él dice que él ve bien que la magia virtual se esté llevando a cabo, que si estás muy metido en eso y te atrae, pues lo intentes, ¿no? De la magia virtual, pero que sí, que siempre va a haber la gente que quiera estar en el uno a uno, ¿no? Especialmente, por ejemplo, nosotros, a mí personalmente, me gusta conocer a más personas, me gusta interactuar con la gente y me gusta hacer todo eso, entonces yo creo que esto es una muy buena manera de operar. A mí la magia virtual casi no me gusta, pero pues, por ejemplo, en estas situaciones, pues es necesario, ¿no? Para poder seguir compartiendo. That's great, Mr. Myles. I was telling these guys that personally, I don't feel like I don't like camera like magic, you know, like I don't feel it's the same. I like to know a lot of people. I like to meet. Personally, I like to make connections. I like to share. I like to knock the glass and say cheers. You know,
Yeah.
like you know, I like the personal interaction, right? Miles, we are Zoom has a time limit,
Mhm.
so we're running of 10 minutes. If
Okay.
this gets cut, I'll send you another link. We continue, right?
Great.
Sometimes they don't cut the sessions, so but just in case, I'll send you another one. Okay,
Great.
very good. Now, what's right now? What's your? I mean, you work with Vanishing. You work with Morpheus Magic, right? You had your lecture. Well, you work your Instagram out and things like that. But what is what is your next dream? What would be the next step for Myles Thornton?
So I am currently writing a book for magicians.
Wow.
Yeah, so full of like effects like you've seen already and brand new ones that no one's seen before. And I'm really excited about that. So I'm currently in the process of writing it. And then once I finish writing it, I'm going to pitch it to maybe a few different magic companies and see if they want to release it. And then if not, I'll do it myself.
That's great. And do you know already the title?
Yeah, so the title I think is going to be called Magic on My Mind.
Magic on My Mind. That's great. That's great. That's great. And Frank, how many effects are you going to put into that book?
So I think it's going to be about 30 plus.
30 plus, right?
Yeah.
And you're working with other magicians to write this book?
So it's just myself.
Okay,
so
that's great.
By me. I will have some other magicians who are going to proofread it and stuff like that. But yeah, and I'm also doing all the artwork myself. So I'm doing
All the artwork?
Yeah, myself. Yeah.
Great. That's great. That's great. We have here a friend in Mexico. I don't know if you know him. His name is Jorge Betancourt.
Okay.
These guys, do you know Fennec?
Yes. Yeah.
He has a book that's The Code.
Yep.
Well, this guy I'm telling you about, he was the artwork for the book. So I think that's a really great job because writing and drawing a book, I think it's a great experience because you translate magic, as you said, as it is in your mind, right? So that name is awesome for your book, Magic on My Mind. I think it's gonna be great. You have really good techniques and routines, so I'm sure it will be great.
Thank you.
Le pregunto a Myles que cuál es la siguiente meta, ¿no? ¿Cuál es el siguiente paso, siguiente sueño? Y él me dice que ahorita justamente está escribiendo un libro que se va a llamar Magic on My Mind, Magia en mi mente, o La Magia en mi mente, donde nos va a compartir más de 30 efectos que él ha creado. Le pregunto que si este libro lo está haciendo con otros magos, solamente él, y me dice que solamente él está haciendo, lo está escribiendo, él mismo está haciendo los dibujos, entonces ese es un libro completamente hecho por él, que más adelante saldrá, lo van a leer otros magos, van a ver qué onda, y le van a pasar sus opiniones, pero básicamente eso es el siguiente paso, ¿no? Eso es algo que ya va en camino, pero ahorita le vamos a preguntar cuál es, después de esto, qué seguiría, ¿vale? So, Myles, this is something that it's going to be out, right? Something you're working on it already, the book.
Yeah.
Now, as this is something that it's happening already, do you have any plans for when this is done, after this is done, like another project, another thing coming up? Do you have any idea of what you're going to do?
So I don't particularly. I tend to go with the flow quite a lot. So I tend to
Oh,
work
that's great.
project and just see where my interests take me. So whether that's magic or doing something else, no matter what, as long as it interests me, I'll go for it. So
Okay. And are you a full-time magician? Like, do you only work for magic, do magic, and that's all you do?
So currently I'm a full-time magician, performing at weddings and stuff. where we're going to see what happens next. So it could be a change in our industry where big events are cancelled and stuff like that. So we have to see what happens.
That's great. Dice Myles que le gusta ser una persona que se deja llevar con el flow de la situación, ¿no? Que él va hacia donde sus intereses lo llevan, ¿no? Entonces ahorita no hay como que un siguiente sueño, siguiente nada, pero dice que posiblemente haya un cambio de industria. Él trabaja, como les digo, para bodas, para bodas y restaurantes y así. Entonces tal vez ahorita haya un pequeño cambio, ¿no? En la industria donde él trabaja. Dice que le gustaría atender eventos más grandes y así, pero pues por ahora solo el libro es lo que estamos trabajando. Y pues está excelente, ¿no? Está excelente. Yo creo que todos deberíamos de tener la oportunidad de hacer este tipo de cosillas, ¿no? De concentrarnos a hacer este tipo de cosas. Y también deberíamos de dejar de planear un poco las cosas. Bueno, yo personalmente soy una persona que no planeo muchas cosas. Todo es como más, ¿no? Donde nos vaya llevando la corriente. That's very good, Mr. Myles. Now, this is a really good question. Like, when do you decide you are becoming what you are right now? When do you choose to become Myles Thornton in the magic way?
So I went full time. So I went to university, and there I studied business. And so whilst at that university, I was doing it part time at like bars and restaurants and stuff. And then once I graduated university, I thought I'm going to take the plunge and go full time. So I've done that for the last 3-4 years now.
So before 3-4 years, well, 3-4 years before, you were not a full-time magician. You were studying.
Yeah, studying business at university. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So you have a degree.
Yeah.
4 years. How you said you were 20? What? 26?
24.
24. Yeah, 24. And oh, that's great. That's great. So you have a business degree.
Yeah.
Very good. And what happened? Why did you choose to go full time in magic?
So I've always wanted to be a full-time magician, or at least give it a go to see what it's like. And so I thought it's the perfect opportunity to do it straight after uni, where I've got nothing to risk. I can just go full-time, see if it works out. And it worked out quite well. This situation set me back a bit. But as long as I'm having fun, I don't really mind what I do. So I could be a part-time magician or a full-time magician. As long as I'm having fun with it and gets to be creative with it, I'm happy.
That's great. That's great. I think, yeah, as long as you have events, as long as you can go and perform for people, yeah, that's great, right?
Yeah, I think all magicians are the same. We all just want to perform, whether that's casually or professionally or a bit of both. Like, I'll be happy doing anything. Like, if I have to stop being a full-time magician, I will, and just perform casually. That's just as fun for me. So
that's great. That's great. It's great to see magic like that, because, for example, at first I said, like, you know what? I don't want to be anything else that is not a magician. I want to be a full-time magician.
Yeah.
I dropped school for magic. You know, I was almost finishing my degree, and I said, like, you know what? I don't want to be an engineer. I want to be a magician, right? So I just dropped it out, and I started doing magic around. I started, people started telling me, hey, you're good. You should do this for a job and things like that. And I started doing. I grew up a little bit in my magic. I got the opportunity to go another place to perform, working with a tourism enterprise. And then this situation pulls you back a little bit, right? And it makes you like think, oh, can I be a magician full time? Maybe I don't need to be a magician full time. Maybe I just need to perform. Yeah. I need to study, and maybe I can have a side job, right? Yeah. So that's good. At the middle of that, estábamos hablando nosotros de dónde surge esta idea de Myles, de volverse quien es ahora, ¿no? Myles Thornton. Él me comenta que él estuvo, bueno, ya como sabemos, él tuvo un encuentro con la magia desde los 6 años de edad. Él a la fecha tiene 24. él me comenta que él estaba estudiando, ¿no? Él estudió negocios, tiene 4 años que él se gradúa y él decide volverse un mago de tiempo completo, ¿no? Yo le pregunto que qué fue lo que lo llevó a esta decisión y me comenta él que fue, pues, el hecho de ir saliendo, ¿no? De este, ¿cómo se llama? De graduarse, ¿no? De la universidad, de no tener nada que arriesgar y solamente tratar de ir a probar, ¿no? La suerte de la magia. Y pues, gracias a Dios, dice él que pues él pudo trabajar, ¿no? Encontró eventos, encontró esto. Él dice que no le importa ser un mago de tiempo completo o no de tiempo completo, que él se puede preformar casual o siempre, pues él es feliz, ¿no? Y es lo que le comento, que realmente todos tenemos esa etapa. Yo personalmente dejé la universidad por ir a perseguir ese sueño de la magia, pero al final te das cuenta que también puedes hacer otras cosas, ¿no? Yo, por ejemplo, me di cuenta que podía trabajar en otra cosa que no fuera magia, sin descuidar la magia, obviamente, pero sí, Myles es un mago de tiempo completo. Finalmente, él dice que él no tiene problemas si algún día de mañana no puede ser un mago completo mientras pueda preformear en eventos y en distintas cosas, ¿no? Entonces yo creo que esto es muy, muy importante, ¿no? Tener el firme que no necesitas preformear el tiempo completo o ser un mago de tiempo completo para ser un mago, ¿no? Entonces eso es muy, muy interesante, comparto esta idea y está muy bien. Very good, Mr. Myles. Now, this is a really hard question because when I first read this question, I said like, okay, I don't know how to answer this.
Mm-hmm.
But do you have any reason or anything that you don't like of being a magician?
Okay. Oh, that is a tough question.
I know, right?
I don't like. I think I don't like the egos that come along with it. So, being a magician, when you perform to people, you get told that you're really good, you're amazing. And some magicians start to believe it and it goes to their head a bit and they start to become a bit egotistical. So I think egos need to be left at the door because we're all the same sort of magicians. We all love performing. And that's what we should share. We shouldn't be having like egos and like fights about certain sort of stuff. I think everyone just needs to relax a bit. So
That's right. Yeah, well, that's a thing that for sure comes with magic. Like you, first of all, you do things that no one does. You know, I think that's when it starts, and then you go with people, and as you tell, like people tell you, "Oh, you're amazing, you're great," and that thing, and you start. You should believe you're great. I think personally you should believe you're great, but you don't have to become, as you said, ego, right? Like, oh, I'm the best and I can do this and I can do that. But because there's some time in your life when you think that and you come in front of another magician and you discover you're nothing, right?
yeah,
There, my father would tell me there's always someone better than you, right?
true.
So
Yeah.
your ego is the first thing you have to take off, right? So yeah, I think that's another thing I don't like being a magician, the egos that are involved. And it not only personal, but with other magicians become like that, and that creates some conflicts sometimes. And as you said, we should be the same. We should be just worried about performing and sharing and just magic, right? That's no one has said that before, actually.
Oh,
Like
okay.
most people said, like it's about that you cannot get fooled or things like that, right? But yeah, that's cool. Ego is the thing you don't like being a magician. So le pregunto a Miles que a él qué es lo que no le gusta, ¿no? De ser un mago. Él dice que es una respuesta muy difícil, que no lo había pensado, pero él cree que el ego que la gente llega a desarrollar, ¿no? Al ser magos, Él dice, es que vas, eres magos, vas, haces magia a la gente te empieza a decir que eres muy bueno, y eso se te sube, ¿no? Se te sube a la cabeza, y entonces él dijo algo muy, muy importante. Yo creo que el ego es algo que debemos dejar afuera de la puerta, que todos debemos de estar pues preocupados por el hecho de compartir, por el hecho del bien de la magia y no involucrar los egos. Entonces, básicamente a él lo que no le gusta de la magia o de ser mago es que pues a veces hay cuestiones de ego involucradas ahí en la situación, ¿no? No sé si ustedes opinan lo mismo, si alguien tiene la misma opinión, pero sí a veces hay egos que se suben por la magia. Very good, Mr. Thornton. Now, yes, this is really good. Besides magic, are you into other art forms? Do you practice any other art form?
Yeah, so I do juggling, so I do a lot of juggling, and that kind of mixes in with the magic. So
Yeah,
it's
of
kind of
course.
a little bit similar. But I also really enjoy doing artwork, drawings, and stuff like that. So I do a lot of artwork that way, mostly online. So like digital drawings with iPads and stuff like that. That's what I really enjoy.
Digital drawings?
Yeah, so like so that's Marlowe. So this sort of stuff.
Wow.
There you go. So like stuff like
That's
that is what I really enjoy.
So you enjoy but you enjoy drawing or you enjoy coloring?
So most of the time it's like a bit of both. So I draw it on the iPad and then you can color it in with the iPad and make it look good. So
That's great, that's great. Entonces dice Miles que aparte de la magia, él hace malabares, hace muchos malabares. De hecho, Miles tiene rutinas muy buenas con contact, con las bolas de contact. Es buenísimo, buenísimo, buenísimo. Yo he tenido la oportunidad de ver algunos de sus videos, pero también dice que le gusta mucho el dibujo. De hecho, el dibujo que acaba de enseñarnos en su celular es un dibujo que él hizo, ¿no? Le pregunto yo que si le gusta más dibujar o colorear. Él me dice que disfruta los dos, pero que sí le gusta el hecho de dibujar, más que nada en iPad, ¿no? En iPad o en cosas digitales le gusta como ahí estar pasándose el tiempo. Está muy bien. This is very good. Any music? Do you play any music instrument or something like that?
no, I don't. I'm not very good at music. I love music.
Okay.
I'm not very good at it.
Yeah, very good. That's great. No, don't worry. Now, you know, when we want to do things, when we really want to do things, they always require, first of all, effort, right? Discipline. But a lot of things, it requires sacrifices, right? So, do you think that you have done any sacrifice for magic? Have you have this feeling where you say, oh, I want this, but I cannot, or I have to sacrifice this to do magic or to grow or anything like that?
Yeah, so a few things come to mind. So the first thing I'd say is sacrificed is sometimes time with my friends. Because a lot of time, if I'm booked to perform somewhere, it's on the weekend, and that's when my friends go out. So I tend to miss social gatherings, birthday parties, sometimes and stuff like that when I'm working. And then the second one is I gave up one of my hobbies to do magic. So when I was younger, I used to do a lot of skateboarding, and then
Wow.
when I became a full-time magician and started taking that more seriously, I stopped because I didn't want to get injured. Because if I break my wrist, then I can't work. So I gave that up because it was a little bit too dangerous. So those are the two things that popped to mind first.
Wow. Le decía a Miles que, pues finalmente, cuando tú quieres hacer cosas, ¿no? Cuando tú quieres hacer las cosas bien y tienes un sueño o una pasión, pues siempre, pues primero que nada necesitamos disciplina, ¿no? La disciplina y el estudio y eso, pero yo le digo que también necesitas sacrificios, ¿no? A veces. Entonces yo le pregunto que si alguna vez él ha tenido que sacrificar algo o que él ha sentido que ha tenido que sacrificar algo por la magia. Y él me cuenta que sí, ¿no? Que en efecto las primeras dos cosas que él ha sacrificado o que se le vienen a la mente ahorita son el tiempo con sus amigos, ¿no? Porque pues a él lo contratan para trabajar los fines de semana, que es cuando regularmente sus amigos salen, entonces él ha tenido que sacrificar convivencias, fiestas de cumpleaños y así. Y dice que otra cosa que él tuvo que sacrificar por la magia fue uno de sus hobbies. Él antes hacía skateboard, o sea, patinaba, ¿no? Y pues debido a que es peligroso, que no quería romperse una muñeca o un brazo o una mano y no poder hacer magia, pues él tuvo que sacrificar este hobby, ¿no? Que tenía del skateboard. Entonces, pues, muy bien. That's the thing. So, Mr. Myles, okay, we already talked about the events that that make you chose to become a full-time magician. So every magician is different, right? I personally think no magician is the same as other magician. Like there's different kinds of magic. There's kind of characters, techniques, stuff like that. So what would you consider like your personal seal? Like what differentiates you from other magicians?
Okay, so that's really interesting. So I think when people book you, so a lot of time when I perform at weddings, the couple meets me at a restaurant or somewhere, and then they get to know me, and then therefore they don't want to book any other magician because they know who I am. And I think that's just because the way you just be yourself. So you don't. I tend to don't have a character. I never have a character when performing. I'm always just performing as myself, having fun with people, and just being a human. So a lot of magicians, when they're performing, they'll be so focused on performing that they miss someone saying something and they don't reply. They ignore it. And I think that's a big mistake. I think you want to chat to people, and then the magic comes almost as like a secondary. So they really like you as a person, and they also like you.
Okay, very good. So I have the problem, for example, I have the problem of sometimes someone says something and I'm like, oh yeah, you know,
Yeah,
and my girlfriend was the one who told me that, like, hey, what up? Like, she just told you she's gonna get married, and you were like, okay, so pick a card, right? So yeah, that's a lot of that happens a lot sometimes to magicians, that we don't pay really close attention to the things that are happening around the tables, because as you say, we're so focused in performing that we lose that human sense, right?
yeah.
But here in the order we try is to keep that alive. You know, actually, my friend and partner, Cross, he always uh, he always tries to tell all of our performers that the first thing that it's important, it's the connection with the spectator, and to truly care for them, right? Not to see the spectator as someone that you're just gonna show magic, but rather seeing as a friend, right?
100%.
So that's great. Le comento a Miles, o le pregunto a Miles que qué es lo que a él lo diferencia de otros magos, ¿no? Que todos los magos tenemos distintos estilos, tienen distintos personajes, distintas cosas, y pues qué es lo que a él le diferencia de estos. Y él me dice que de hecho es una muy buena pregunta. Él cree que lo que a él lo diferencia de las demás personas es su personalidad, ¿no? O sea, mucha gente dice que no es que quiera tanto contratar un show de magia, sino contratar su show de magia, ¿no? De Miles, por la personalidad. Él me comenta que muchos magos a veces no estamos concentrados, o estamos más bien tan concentrados en querer hacer los efectos, en querer hacer el performance, que nos olvidamos o ignoramos a veces la cuestión de la gente hablándonos, ¿no? Y eso es algo que nunca debe pasar. Y es lo que yo le comento, que yo a veces era así, ¿no? Yo a veces me hablaban y así de, sí, y continuaba con el truco, ¿no? Entonces, es lo que yo les digo, ¿no? Que aquí en The Order siempre se ha fomentado eso. Cross ha fomentado mucho esa cuestión de, de siempre que nos importe el espectador, ¿no? Que lejos de tratar al espectador como alguien que nada más le vas a mostrar magia, pues que te importe como si fuera tu amigo, ¿no? Entonces, dice que es completamente, que él está de acuerdo con eso. Myles, just to give a little break to the interview and you don't feel like attacked with questions, do you want to show us any routine you have? Do you want to show us anything you are working or do you have?
So are you guys up for learning something? I could teach something if you're up for it.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would be great. That would be great. Chicos, nos van a enseñar a hacer algo por aquí.
So I'll show you what it looks like first. So watch. If I take the Sharpie, you do this and it changes color, and then you can hand it out. So that's color. It's called Sharpie color change, and it's really good for when you're working. So when you get someone to sign a card, you do this first.
Okay.
So what's happening is you have an extra cap here on the end, and this black cap on here. So this is covered like this, and then you push up, take here, and then you come over, and then you're going to grip it with these two here and pull. There.
Wow.
So I'll show you that again. I'll do it in slow motion so you can see. So here, you push, take this out, come round, and pull. And give it out.
At first, I thought you had another Sharpie.
Yeah, so it looks, yeah, so you get the impression that it looks like it's a whole different Sharpie because you think two bits change, but really you're just switching the lid.
Wow.
So if I'm getting someone to sign a card, I'll take this out and say, oh, sorry, 1 second, and I give it to them, and then I can just stick this in my pocket.
It looks super magical. It looks like, you know?
Yeah.
Wow, and how do you get rid of the cup?
So as they're signing their card, I just ditch it into my pocket.
Okay, very good. Very, very good. Pues chicos, ahí está, para que aprendamos a hacer ese cambio de Sharpie. Está muy interesante. Lo vi muy, muy, muy mágico, ¿no? Está muy cool. Thank you for teaching us that move. Ahí lo están haciendo otra vez para que veamos cómo se hace. Se ve muy, 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 muy padre. La neta, nunca había visto un switch así de color de Sharpie. Thank you a lot for sharing that with us. I think a lot of us are going to use it. Personally, I am going to practice it. I am going to use it. You know, you saying, that's cool. You know? Very good. So we were saying about the personality, right? That differentiates you from the other magician. I think that's totally true. Now, we know, like, for example, I have tons of funny stories that have happened to me while performing magic or within a magic atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
So for you, do you have any funny story through magic, any funny moment that happened to you? Yeah, that you want to tell us?
Yeah, of course. So I perform a thing called contact juggling. So this is this. So I perform this a lot of gigs and stuff, so you can make it look like it floats.
Look at that.
So I had to travel with this ball. So I take it with me like to gigs and stuff. And then when I was booked to do the Murphy's lecture, they flew me out to Sacramento from the UK. And as I was going through security, this flagged up in my bag. So all the security came to check out what was in my bag because it looked suspicious. And then when they opened it, they're really confused about what it was. And so I asked them to give it to me and I showed them. So I started showing them bits of magic. And then I had a crowd around me of all the security from the TSA, I think they're called, performing magic to them, having them laughing and stuff. So that's a really fun story that really sticks to mind.
And didn't you lose your flight?
No, I made it, luckily. So
that would have been like, hey, Marcus, you don't know what just happened. Very good. Le digo que sí, que nos compartiera una historia, ¿no? Una historia graciosa o algo una anécdota que él hubiera tenido. Dice que cuando lo llamaron de Murphy's Magic a grabar su lecture, pues lo transportaron, ¿no? Desde Reino Unido hasta Sacramento. Y como él hace el contact, la magia o el malabar con el contact, cuando pasó por la seguridad, pues vieron eso en el escáner de su de su maleta y pues los de seguridad así de, hey, ¿qué hubo, no? ¿Qué es esto? Y dice cuando lo abrieron pues estaban súper confundidos de saber qué era. Y ya le dijo Myles que se lo diera, él empezó a hacer un poco de magia, ¿no? Con la contact y de repente ya tenía una audiencia ahí en la oficina de seguridad del aeropuerto, ¿no? Le pregunto, ¿y no perdiste tu vuelo? Me dice, no, de hecho sí pude volar. Le digo que hubiera estado muy chistoso así de llamarle y decirle, hey, Morphis, no sabes lo que me acaba de pasar, ¿no? Y haber perdido el vuelo, pero pues, que that's great. I think every magician, or well, if you travel and are booked to shows, we all have stories with magic. Once they were making I don't know how to say it in English, but it's when they are catching somebody, the police is going like through well, they check every car that goes through
Right.
the police station, right?
True. Yep.
So they tell me like, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing. And they just start doing like this. And I always carry 2 or 3 pack of cards, right? And they were like, and why do you have so many pack of cards? And I'm like, I'm a magician. And they were like, what? I was like, yeah, let me show you. And I just did some tricks to them. And they were like, oh, yeah, you can leave. Go. Yeah. So being a magician always saves you from things.
Yeah, really, it really does. I find like, so I perform in some quite like high-end sort of places, so really nice hotels and like football stadiums. And like I've gone into really like parts of the place that I'm not supposed to be, so like the trophy room. And then I've been caught by security just looking around. They say, what are you doing here? I was like, oh, I'm the magician. They go, oh, okay, see you later on. And they just let you carry on. It's like,
yeah.
It is.
So guys, if you ever are in trouble, just say, I'm the magician.
Yeah.
Right? Very good. Muy bien, pues le decía yo a Myles que pues siempre el ser mago nos salva de algo, ¿no? Yo he tenido experiencias donde ser mago me ha salvado una vez me detuvieron en un retén, no sé por qué, pero pues me encontraron cartas y ya les empecé a hacer magia. Me dije, no te preocupes, pues ya, lánzate, ¿no? Y él dice que sí, ¿no? Que él hace eventos para lugares muy fancies, ¿no? Muy lujosos, y que pues él es mucho de irse a curiosear, y que las veces que lo han cachado, él dice así de, no, pues yo soy el mago, y ya. So es todo, ok, te vemos mejor. Very good, very good. I have had so much fun in this interview, you know?
Yeah, it's been really fun.
That's something really interesting. The next question, we all struggle with techniques, we all struggle with routines, we all struggle with different things through magic. But for you, which is the technique that you think, oh my God, this is the hardest thing to master, this is the hardest thing to do?
Oh, that's a tough one. The hardest thing. I think when I first learned contact juggling, that was really hard. I gave up so many times and put it to the side. I thought, no, I'm not going to bother. And then came back to it each time and tried again. So that was really hard because you had to learn things in both hands. So I had to learn how to juggle it in this hand and then juggle the ball in this hand as well, my weak hand. So you had to learn both, which is hard. And I also think a lot of card moves. So I think a lot of card magic is really hard because you have to get it just perfect. So like maybe the rise move where the card jumps up, that's really hard to do because it's such little margin for error.
The one that it's going up and going up and going up. Yeah. I cannot do that.
It's so hard, yeah. And it's even harder because I can almost do it sometimes when I'm at home on my own. But as soon as I try to perform it, I just can't do it because,
That happens.
Yeah.
For example, I can do the one hand palm when I'm alone, when I'm practicing, and not every time. But for sure, if I try it on a table, I cannot do it.
Right, yeah. I don't know why it is. I guess it's just the adrenaline, maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's something you have to masterize, you know, like to practice and practice until you are sure that you're gonna fail in the attempt.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Le preguntaba a Myles cuál para él ha sido, digo, hay muchas técnicas que son muy difíciles, ¿no? De distintas disciplinas, pero para él cuál era la más difícil, y él me comenta que pues con la cuestión del contact, a él se le hizo muy difícil aprender a manejar la bola con con las dos manos, ¿no? Principalmente porque pues únicamente estás acostumbrado a usar tu mano derecha y para él a maniobrarla en la mano izquierda pues era muy difícil. De hecho dice que se dio por vencido muchas veces. Muchas veces dijo, ay, no, ya no voy a hacer esto y luego regresó y así, ¿no? Y dice que también hay muchos movimientos de cartas, como por ejemplo, hay un truco que es como el elevador, ¿no? Que nosotros ponemos la carta abajo, empezamos a hacer así y empieza a subir hasta arriba. Y yo eso es una cosa que no puedo hacer. Y él dice que él también, o sea, él lo practica y le sale a veces, pero solo en su casa, ¿no? Y cuando lo intenta poner en algún perform, pues no le sale, ¿no? Entonces es lo mismo, a mí me pasa con el palm, el de una mano, el empalme de una mano, yo no puedo hacerlo si estoy preformeando, puedo hacerlo tal vez una o dos o tres veces en mi casa, no siempre me sale, pero cuando trato de hacer una mesa jamás me ha salido. Entonces, pues eso para él ha sido las técnicas un poco más difícil. Now, we talked about hard techniques, right? That is these things that you just told us, the one palm, the cliff shape, for example, right? But not speaking about the hard techniques and going to another kind of technique, what is a technique, one or two techniques that you think that are essential for every magician to have?
Okay. So I think any sort of coin palm, so any sort of like finger palm or classic palm, I think you can do so much with that. So for example, like if I was just going to be a regular person and do a bit of magic, I'd learn the palm because then you can vanish stuff and then you can make it reappear just by using one palm. So I think that's so powerful. And then if you can change that slightly. So instead of vanishing it, I could change the effect and I could say I could eat it and make it vanish, or I can place it in my ear or in their ear, and I can produce it from their ear. So stuff like that, I think a palm is really versatile and really useful. So from the palm, I can load it onto their shoulder, or I can put it on the back of their hand. There's so much stuff you can do with it just with a simple finger palm. So that's the main one.
Okay, very good. Le preguntaba a Miles que para él cuál era la técnica que él consideraba que era necesaria para cualquier mago, ¿no? Que ya habíamos hablado de las técnicas que eran difíciles, pero no de las necesarias. Y él dice que el empalme para él es una de las técnicas, pues, más funcionales, más versátiles. Puedes hacer muchas cosas con un empalme, entonces él dice que, y digo, ya mostró un poquito de que de un empalme puedes hacerlo vanish, puedes usarlo para hacer un fake transpo y hacer el vanish comiéndotela, ¿no? Entonces, él dice que esa es una técnica que para él es indispensable y que todo mago debería de dominar, ¿no? Ya sea el empalme de aquí o el de acá. Muy bien, very good, very good. Well, with the last question, we finished the interview, you know.
Awesome.
And then if people want to ask something, this Ricardo says that if you can repeat the thing that you showed us from the Sharpie, because he didn't catch it.
Yeah, no problem. 1 second. Let me just. So here's a Sharpie. So you have an extra cap on the end, and then this side matches the cap, and that goes on there. And so this hides in your hand here. You push up, and then take the Sharpie. So this is here. You come over, you pull like this, and it switches. So I'll do that one more time, like this. This is in here. You come over. These two grab this one here, like that. And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll send you a link to a lecture that I did maybe a couple of weeks ago for free. So it's just on YouTube, and it teaches that on it. So you'll be able to learn it in more detail there. So I'll send you the link, and then you can share it with everyone you want.
Yes, for sure. Thank you for that. Chicos, nos van a pasar una lecture que dio Myles ahí para nosotros. Entonces ahorita nos los van a pasar. Okay, so this is the last question, and we're just left with 10 minutes more of the meeting. So maybe let's hope that the time it's enough, and if it's not enough, we just reconnect again.
Sounds good.
Now, this is something really good. And this is something that puts magicians in such a hard spots, right?
Okay.
Hypothetically, I mean, you work for private events, personal events, weddings, and stuff like that. But hypothetically speaking, if you had to hire or invite any magician, like any magician, to perform for a personal event for your family or for your friends, who would you bring and why?
There's absolutely no question it'll be David Williamson. I think.
Okay, no question. Like, yeah, I don't have a doubt.
He's the only one. I think he's so good. He's got like really good sleight of hand. He does really powerful magic, and he's hilarious. And he's brilliant for all ages. You can see him work with kids. He works with adults. All ages will find him hilarious, and I think he's just will have an amazing time. So he would be my only magician of choice.
David Williamson.
Yeah.
Muy bien, David Williamson. David Williamson. I cannot recall right now any effect from him. I know who he is, but I cannot recall any effect right now.
The most thing he's famous for is the raccoon, the Rocky raccoon.
Oh, yeah.
He does that. He does a lot of really good coin magic. But it's just really hilarious. So if you get to watch loads of videos of him performing to people, he's just so funny and he's so good. I think he just, my only choice.
Very good. So you didn't stumble even a little bit. It was like, no, there's no question. Yes, David Williamson, bring it on.
Yeah.
Very good. Pues le comentaba, ya saben la pregunta, ¿no? Del millón. ¿A quién invitarías si tuvieras un evento privado, ¿no? Un evento, una reunión familiar. ¿A quién tú contratarías, tú invitarías? ¿Y por qué? Y pues Myles dice que él invitaría a David Williamson, ¿no? Por la cuestión de que es muy gracioso, de que tiene una muy buena habilidad con las manos, tiene magia muy, muy impactante. Entonces, él dice que no hay pregunta, no hay ni siquiera que responder, o sea, no es como una pregunta, sino que él diría, sin dudar, David Williamson es quien él quiere contratar, ¿no? Very good, Mr. Myles. So that was the last question. What do you think about the questions? Were they good?
Oh, yeah, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
I've had a great time.
Sorry?
I've had a great time, so thank you to everyone that's joined.
We had too a great time. Now, is there anything you want to tell to the people that's watching you right now, and any message you want to tell them?
So you can keep up with me on Instagram at Myles Thornton, and if you're working on anything, or if you want some advice, or just want to chat, drop me a message. I always respond. It may take a couple of days or something, but I always respond. So yeah, I just love meeting other magicians, seeing what they're up to, sharing what I'm up to. And yeah, just share magic.
Very good, very good. Pues ahí está, chicos. Dice Myles que están trabajando en algo, si tienen alguna rutina, si quieren algún consejo o algo así, que se sientan libres de escribirle un mensaje a su Instagram. Él siempre responde. Dice que tal vez pueda tardarse 2 o 3 días en responder, maybe, pero que siempre responde. Entonces, cualquiera que quiera mandarle un mensaje, dice que él siempre está dispuesto para compartir, ¿no? Well, Myles, thank you a lot for this interview. Thank you a lot for your time. Thank you for taking this time with us to share a little bit of your magic, of your life, of your history.
No problem.
It's really important for me to know more about the artists I follow, the artists I'm always like, how does he do that, right? The thing with the ring got me crazy. But well, here inside this conversation, we are all of the table, how can I say it? The bosses of the enterprise, right? I didn't want to say it like that, right? Yeah. Because we are all a team, but the directives, right, of the company are here. We try to keep this for our community, right? There's people that just realize about these interviews, these things, and they just send us a message. So we have people here from all the world. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for being part of this project. I'm going to ask you for your mail address. Besides besides having magicians working in other places, we also make mats and articles for magicians. for tables and stuff like that. So you send me the mail address, and we'll send you a couple of mats when all this finishes, right? When they open the barriers. And well, again, thank you for sharing. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. There's a lot of things I'm sure we now know that we didn't know before. And well, we hope to have you back really soon. And also, we're gonna invite you to our event that we're making here in Mexico. Hope you can come. We don't know when it's gonna be, but we hope you can join us here. Okay?
Amazing.
To party a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you a lot, Mr. Myles. Muchas gracias, chicos. Pues muchísimas gracias a ustedes también por venir a esta junta. Ya se nos va a acabar el tiempo. Antes de que se nos vaya, pues les quiero agradecer su atención y todo lo que hemos estado platicando aquí. Si alguien tiene alguna duda, cuestión o comentario, ya saben, me pueden escribir a mí, le pueden escribir a Cross. Myles está dispuesto a contestarles cualquier duda, cualquier pregunta, cualquier cosa que ustedes quieran. Recuerden seguirlos. Ahorita les voy a pasar el link de la lecture. Y pues, muchísimas gracias a todos. Nos vemos en la próxima con mucho más magia, ¿no? Thank you a lot, Mr. Myles.
Thank you. See you guys later.
Bye. Nos vemos a todos. Muchas gracias a todos.
Adiós.
Adiós.